Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? Um, this is the reluctant Nabi back again. Oh Lord, and I forgot to do something. Let the brethren know that I'm
Hey,
on
what's
here.
up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? Um, this is the reluctant.
Okay. So let me get the message out. So hold on for a second. Let me greet everybody real quick. Horten Hardugu Dog, Ola Oi to the Bang, Vastus Los, Bonjour, Miss Amig, Ketabawani Kunichiwa, Nihani Ama, Sani Bonani, Jumbo Habaragani, Assalamu alaikum, and Shalom. All right, so I wanted to go over something today, and I was going to be dealing primarily with the brainwashing that has been going on, not just here in America, but by design, how it was, how everything we know and we've learned, history, we cannot trust anything we learn in history, period. Now, why do I continue with looking at things in history? We can look at what's said in history, but not trust it as the truth. But we can trust it as information. And so, the objective of this video today is to show you some things and point out the fact that the things we know is by design to stray us away from our own historical beliefs, which would have strengthened us had we kept them, to the point we would not be in the situation we're in, because we would have saw liars for who they are. All right, and that's important. All right, that's a very important and significant thing right now. All right, so couple of things I want to point out that we're going to go into some detail. The so-called Christmas narrative, and the reason why we're going to go into it is not because it's about that time or anything. I want to show you how it ties into lies by people who should know they are lying, probably know they're lying, but presenting lies as the truth. And so I ran across Megyn Kelly. All right. And basically, an old thing on Megyn Kelly when she was on Fox. And on Fox, there was a presentation that she gave, and it became a big thing where, and there's a couple of problems with what was going on. It became a big thing where she said that Santa Claus was white, just like Jesus was white. Neither of which is true, but they are both related. Understand this. They are both related in history closer than you think. And that's what we're going to break down. The historical relationship between the two And because of the historical relationship between the two, it makes everything that this woman said patently false. In the worst way, patently false. All right. And so I'm going to give a couple of brothers enough time to roll on in here. And we're just going to go back over some things that one would think we should already know. All right. So these are going to be some things that we should already know. For those of you who's followed me for a while, y'all know that I've presented before you, and this isn't even the only false narrative. There's a lot of false narratives going on here when we talk about stuff. And in discussing these false narratives, we got to understand what the objective is. And when you understand what the objective is, then not only can you tell or should be able to summarize that something is false, but when you understand the objective of those running this country, when it comes to the history, when it comes to what they put before our faces, all right, then and only then do you really understand what's going on with all this documentation and stuff like that. All right. So first off, the objective of those running the country and the world arguably is the utter destruction of the Afro mind and soul and body if necessary. Let me break that down. They want our minds destroyed. They want our bodies destroyed. But the bonus, they want our minds and souls destroyed. But the bonus is they want our bodies intact because they see us as the best slave labor force ever. And when we don't capitulate, they commit mass genocide, such as what Cecil B. Rhodes did to Africans, genocide, 10 million deaths. The people running these places got death running all over the place. Rivers of blood in the names of things that were made up. Rivers of blood. All right, so first, let me say what's up to everybody here real quick. Hey, what's up, Dwight? Texas Marine, Semper Fi, brother. Antonio Johnson, what's going down? Hey, Daniel. All right. So, basically, as we break these things down, these are some things I want you brothers to think about. One, we are not a monolithic being. All right. When I present stuff to you, I present stuff that I know or have found out, and it is for you. What's up, David Bowman? It is for you to Be like, ah, yeah, I never really thought about it. Let me look into it further. Or it may confirm what you already know. All right. So basically, when we go and look into these things, all right, when we go and look into these things, there's a couple of things that I want you to keep in mind. All right. That the objective of everything that is going on right now is the utter destruction of the Afro man's seed. If they can't enslave it, they want it destroyed. Everything that is going on is an attack on our seed. And we have to look and understand that people that don't care about their seed, and I'm not talking about child support either. All right, because child support is the scam. It don't allow you to understand what child support is. Just got this thought. Child support does not allow you to train and raise your seed. And any money that you would have put aside for your seed, that your seed can have a legacy, is now destroyed by the woman that put you on child support. Let that sink in for a minute. Understand what I just said. The BW is a party to the destruction of the Afro male. I want y'all to let that sink in for a hot second. The BW that went and put the child on child support because they wanted a check is part of the supremacist system, and she knows it. Believe me, y'all, she knows it. She knows that her sole purpose is the destruction of the Afro male. This is why when they go off and get a Caucasian man, they parade it to other women. And even if that man is toxic and dangerous to them, and we hear about it in the news later, they still do the same thing and have the other BWs think that that's the way to go. Understand this. They have the other BWs think that that is the way to go. Now, I've noticed something. The reason why a lot more men are not with BWs anywhere is that the BWs do not desire the Afro man. That goes into every other false thing. Hey, what's up, Captain Marvel? That goes into every other false thing that has been taught about everything we know. You should question everything you know. All right? You should question everything you know or think you know. All right? They are giving misinformation to women to weaponize them against men. Why would they do this? I want y'all to think about and understand something. When you can weaponize somebody that is close to the person you want destroyed, and the person you don't destroy does not recognize that person as an adversary or an enemy to their life, you have the perfect spy. I want y'all to understand this. You have the perfect spy. Many of the people, the shutdown crew, I want y'all to understand this. Many of the shutdown crew are BWs or women. The greatest adversary that we have right now, I want y'all to understand this. The greatest adversary we have right now is primarily Caucasian women, allied by so-called black women on the left, or Democrat. That's a part of the Democrat Party. All right? So, in all that get an understanding, understand this. So, let's look at some stuff real quick. I want to give you some background real quick. This is going to be a little background because there's some things that I want to add to this conversation. All right, hold on for a second. So I want to give you some time to look over that. And we're going to go over a brief history, but I want to play 2 comments. I want to play 2 comments. Let me see. All right, so we're going to deal with primarily 2 comments. I just want to give y'all enough time to read. All right. And y'all just let me know when y'all done. I want y'all to read this part about Saturnalia. All right. And when you get to the part, when you get to the part where when you get to a stopping point, let me know. Hold on, let me go a little further with this. Okay, nothing that these people tried about anything worked because it's all a lie. It was never meant, nothing was, hold on, nothing that this government did was meant to work because it was a lie. All right, so I want y'all to understand this. Now, this is history. And understand the word cultural and commercial phenomenon. This is what Christmas is about, right? It is a cultural and financial phenomenon. It has nothing to do with anything spiritual in this day. All right. So I want y'all to read, how did Christmas start? In Scandinavia, the Norse celebrated Yule time, from December 21st, the winter solstice, through January 12th, in recognition of the return of the sun. All right. They would bring large logs. Oh, there's the fireplace, and logs by the fireplace that they would set on fire. They would feast until the fire burned out, which would take as many as 12 days. So it's a 12-day holiday. All right, so this is how the whole world celebrate December 25th. Because on December 24th, the sun makes its trajectory back closer to the earth. So I want to give y'all some time to read this real quick. Let me see. I might have did this too quickly. All right, so let me give you some time to read this real quick, and then we're going to go into the commentary. Somebody remind me the number 217. All right, so you got the whole background, right? So now that we have the background, now that we have the background, let's go back to where we were. In the promotion and the whitewashing of our history. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. And if y'all, okay, let's see. Let me see what people are saying. Weaponize, propagandize females. Yes. Yes. Dude, we getting there. We getting there. We are getting there. Man, though, why you on it? There is a relationship between Santa Claus and Coca-Cola. And we're going to get into Harper's Magazine. How he went from having clothes that were brown and stuff and all of that stuff to the red and white that we know him to have now. All right, and notice that red and white is Coca-Cola colors. All right, good evening. Okay, hold on. All right, now let me tell you about this weaponization of the nation against the Afro men, and let's make no doubts about it. There's only, let me say this. We have a better chance statistically with women that are not BWs than we do with BWs. One, because of the minority thing, but two, because a lot of them were taught to believe what came out of this thing, not because it was true, but because we have to look at things from the point of view of a corrupt heart. And a corrupt heart that wants to destroy something but needs justification to do it will use a lie as a justification. And in politics, we have this phrase called plausible deniability. So when the press secretary come out and speak before the press, they intentionally don't want to know everything that's going on so that they can have plausible deniability. With the knowledge in the so-called Afro community, you got a lot of BWs that intentionally don't want to know what's going on so that they can say, you hear it all the time, you see it on TikTok, you see it in a lot of places. The black women said, well, how is we supposed to know who to vote for? But everybody that told them that this man in office was racist, he called us the N-word. He called our children roaches. He gave a eulogy for the KKK Grandmaster of a new chapter. He said he wanted to be like that KKK dude. All right, we showed the pictures. You heard the words that were coming out of his mouth. They ignored all of the truth. Why? Plausible deniability. And now that everything is being destroyed and people are looking at them specifically, the men are the Afro men are really starting to really side eye the BWs, the BAWs. Period. They are really starting to question their mom. Gangsters and the gangbangers have always done it. Because a lot of them ended up in the gangs because mama kicked them out at a certain age when they couldn't get no more money for them. Now, let me go down to this phrase. Dwight Hayes says Saturnalia equals Christmas. December 25th equals Mithra's birthday of Mithra. Now, I want y'all to understand this. In church, and I told y'all this before, y'all seen it. In church, the communion is the celebration of Mithraean sacrificing the bull. The communion, this is the body and blood of Christ. No. They changed the names, but they got you doing the same ceremony that the Roman officers were doing below the churches and stuff in sacrifice to the god Mithra or Apollo. All right. Yeah, so we got all this misinformation coming from the total political machinery, the total media machinery, anything in a suit, you got to look at as a liar. And the reason why I say liar, because they knew what they were doing. There it is, Jeremiah. Okay, but there's something else I want to point out too. So, hold on for a second. All right, so basically, now let's get into the commentary. First, let me know if you can hear this. Hold on. Oh, we're going to get into this, Dwight, about the original paintings and stuff, right? Hey, what's up, Dwayne? Oh, Snizap. Man, Dwayne, I did not know that. Oh, no, no, that's the brother Dwight said this. Hold on, let me put this up here real quick. I'm going to make this bigger. Y'all see that? I want to make sure y'all see that nice and clear. Hey, what's up, Greg Malone? Mahone? What's up, big dog? All right. So, okay. So we got that. Now let's go here. I want y'all to let me know that y'all can hear this. All right, hold on. Can y'all hear this?
Let me get to this other. So in Slate, they have a piece on .com. Santa Claus should not be a white man anymore.
Can y'all hear it? So are y'all able to hear that? Let me know. Let me know. Is the sound good? Is the sound good? Okay. I got one. I hear it. Okay, so let's roll with it.
Let me get to this other. So in Slate, they have a piece on .com. Santa Claus should not be a white man anymore. And when I saw this headline, I kind of laughed and I thought, this is so ridiculous. Yet another person claiming it's racist to have a white Santa, you know? And by the way, for all you kids watching at home, Santa just is white, but.
Now that's racist, what she just said. Because she's lying, knowing that this is a lie, and she's lying to children. But we're going to dig into that real quick, right?
This person is just arguing that maybe we should also have a black Santa. But, you know, Santa is what he is, and just so you know, we're just debating this because someone wrote about it, kids. Okay, I wanted to get that straight. But Jedediah, when I read the piece, the author seems to have, you know, she's African American, and she seems to have real pain at having grown up with this image of a white Santa, and she speaks about it kind of honestly, saying, I didn't really understand why that had to be.
Yeah, she wants Santa to.
Okay, now let's skip along here. Hold on.
brings that cartoonish component into it, and I think that makes all kids kind of feel welcome in the process. So I see where she was going with that.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't make all kids feel.
Hey, I like penguins.
It makes all birds feel welcome.
Kids
Monica,
like penguins.
you know, okay. So I've given her name is Aisha Harris. I've given her her due on where she was going with it, but just because it makes you feel uncomfortable doesn't mean it has to change. You know, I mean, Jesus was a white man too, but you know.
There it is. There it is. Let's run that one back.
You know, I mean, Jesus was a white man too, but you know, it's like change. You know, I mean, Jesus was a white man too, but change. You know, I mean, Jesus was a white man too, but you know, it's change. You know, I mean, Jesus was a white man too, but you know, it's like.
Wow. Hey, what's up, Kelly Gill? Wow, isn't that special? Isn't that special? All right. And so it gets worse, y'all. It gets worse. Let me go to this. All right. So let's listen to this.
The stuff is up there.
Exactly. But you're absolutely right. Look, Santa Claus is based on St. Nicholas, who. But you're absolutely right. Look, Santa Claus is based on St. Nicholas, who was an actual person, a Greek bishop, and was a white man. And you're absolutely right. Look, Santa Claus is based on St. Nicholas, who was an actual person, a Greek bishop, and was a white man.
Okay. So here's the problem with the Jesus narrative, the Santa Claus narrative, and any other garbage narrative they want to come up with. The image you see here is based on this image right here. Hold on for a second. All right, this image you see here. This image you see here is based on two images. One from a poem and one from an artist who was inspired by the poem. The poem's title, original title, was called Old Saint Nick. Then, at the time, it became popular, and then it was known as The Night Before Christmas. And I used to know this was the night before Christmas, and all through that house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Okay, we knew this. The whole modern celebration of Christmas with this white guy, some reindeers, and a flying sled was based on a poem. Not a historical event or document. It was based on a poem. Until this poem Saint Nicholas was out of favor with the powers that be. These right here. This right here is the first image in Harper's Magazine of what you know to be Santa Claus. Santa Claus is a totally 100% fictitious character that was not based in thought or forethought on St. Nicholas. All right? It became based on St. Nicholas because the poet, which is arguably is still a debate on who actually wrote it, because when they wrote the poem, they put it in a paper anonymously. And then when it became popular, somebody claimed to write it. And they don't, so the author that now has the credit for writing it, we'll get into it, may not be the original author, but who knows? And so I want y'all to understand something. Understand what I just said. I said that the writer that wrote this, right, may not be the original writer, but understand that this stuff was being written back in 1821. Now let me look at something real quick. See where I want to go first. Okay, let's go here first. Okay, so in the 1800s, the views on Christmas changed. All right, and what y'all don't know is before the 1800s, in the 1600s, Christmas was outlawed. All right, in 1870, President Grant and Congress declared Christmas a celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ, Savior of the world. So when did Jesus become the Savior of the world? On December 25th in the United States? (1870). Who granted it? President Grant, a white person, and a bunch of white congressmen. The holiday was shunned because the Christmas that y'all know was not based on the Jesus that y'all know. Christmas had nothing to do with the Jesus that y'all know. And before we get into that, I want to show y'all something else. Sorry, my thing kind of lost signal for a little bit. The reason why the early Europeans did not celebrate Christmas because it was a time of debauchery for 12 days. By the time they got done celebrating Christmas, all right, and what you don't understand about Christmas in Roman time, it was a holiday where the slaves and the masters switched places in bed. All right. And so, one of the things that you can tell is that this is a far cry. Hold on. It's a far cry from this dude. And all about getting an understanding, it's a far cry from this dude. Or this dude. This is the real Saint Nicholas, who was out of favor with the Catholics for a while. This image that people now celebrate was not based on an actual person. This image was this artist's rendition of a poem. 1821. 1821. All right. It was presented in Harper's Magazine. All right, so this was based on the Clement Clark Moore poem, Visit from St. Nicholas, or The Night Before Christmas. All right, one moment. Hold on, let me go back because it seemed like y'all missed a lot because Google is effing around with my stuff and it's them. And I know it's them because I'm not on Wi-Fi right now. My stuff is not on Wi-Fi. Okay, so what I was saying is that in 1821, all right, this is where Christmas kind of changed. This, in the 1800s, this poem changed how Christmas was celebrated. All right, it went from something where people were destroying the town to something that became a financial incentive to keep going because people were going out and getting things, pretending to be this fictitious guy. I want y'all to understand, pretending to be this fictitious guy. Remember, this is Saint Nick. This is the poem. This is the image that the guy created based on this poem in 1821, 1823. All right, so the tradition of him wearing red begins in 1870. Why 1870? Well, Harper's Magazine, understand this, Harper's Magazine was about to make a grip from Coca-Cola. The red and white was the Coca-Cola's colors. Before this thing with Harper's Magazine and the Coca-Cola promotion, his stuff was his clothing was dingy and stuff because he was going down chimneys and stuff. Then it turned into red and white. This whole thing was based on a poem. All right? The whole thing was based on a poem. A poem that a lady just told children as a liar that this guy is real and that he's white. Wait a minute. What's worse is that the beef with this is with a black woman who's saying that this dude should be black. But I am saying that neither should exist in our homes, no matter what color, because you are teaching children to lie to their children. And out of, oh, this is fun for the children, you start saying that there are lies that children can tell and lies that children can't tell. Well, which lies can you tell? Well, the ones that make you feel comfortable. But don't tell another lie that I don't like. How do you parent like that? Google's really, someone is really effing with my computer. I can see that right now. It's hard for me to scramble what they're doing right now because I'm in another country. All right, hold on. It gets worse, y'all. It gets worse. So now, in the 1800s, the holiday had to change because it was such a really, really effed up time of year, and it went on all the way to the 12th of January, that the powers that be really had a problem with it. But when they saw that they could make a grip of money off of parents by having them lie to their children, they was like, oh, this is a win-win. So this is how we went to celebrating a pagan holiday, and the character is made up like the Jesus character is made up. All right, remember, we talked about it. There are no J's in the alphabet, right? Now, let's go to this guy. And I want to make sure you can hear him. So as we go to this guy, we got another issue here. When we talk about the lies that are told to steal our minds.
Here's the reality. The image of a white Jesus has been used to justify enslavement, conquest, colonialism, the genocide of indigenous peoples. There are literally millions of human beings whose lives have been snuffed out by people who conquered under the banner of a white God. That is a far more significant problem than whether a black writer in 2013 suggests somewhat humorously, but perhaps seriously, that we should change Santa to a penguin. No one's going to die because of that iconography. The white Jesus, white God imagery has literally resulted in death. That's something folks ought to deal with. What Megyn Kelly said was very simply, quote, Santa is white, end of quote, and so is Jesus. So I think the real issue is, if you want to make a joke about Santa's whiteness, here's a way to do it.
All right, I should be back live. All right, I should be back, y'all. All right, I'm back. All right, so let's get this in before we have any more problems. Because like I said, if I was trying to tell y'all about how to get some coochie, I wouldn't be having all these problems. But when we try to get the truth out as to what's going on, with the brainwashing, some of it is caused by ourselves and stuff like that, it's a problem. All right? So those of you who are still with me,
here's the reality. The image of a white Jesus has been used to justify enslavement, conquest, colonialism, the genocide of indigenous peoples. There are literally millions of human beings whose lives have been snuffed out by people who conquered under the banner of a white God. That is a far more significant problem than whether a black writer in 2013 suggests somewhat humorously, but perhaps seriously, that we should change Santa to a penguin. No one's going to die because of that iconography. The white Jesus, white God imagery has literally resulted in death. That's something folks ought to deal with. What Megyn Kelly said was very simply, quote, Santa is white, end of quote, and so is Jesus. So I think the real issue is, if you want to make a joke about Santa's whiteness, here's a way to do it that would not presume white normalcy or that white is the norm. You could say, for instance, and I would, that if there were Santa, he'd have to be white because no black man could break into millions of homes even if he was bearing presents and not be shot by some neighborhood watch captain. That's a way to be funny, but Fox News would never do that because that would presume that they had to admit racial profiling and racism were real. So there's that. I think the real issue is that she made a statement of fact, not for her own opinion, but fact. There's a difference between believing in Santa and believing in Jesus or the Buddha. Buddha did not come from Kansas. Jesus was not born in a manger in central Pennsylvania. He was a man of color, and the fact that we have represented him for centuries, literally as a white man, speaks to the entire history of white supremacy. We can act like it didn't happen. We can make it the punchline of a joke, but the reality is this iconography, Jesus more so than Santa, I agree with Mel here, Jesus more so than Santa is a real problem. There's a reason we've represented these icons as white. It's not a coincidence that we've done that.
Okay.
notice he said there's a reason they represented those icons as white. Listen up.
I think there's something inherently wrong. I understand you saying that a white Jesus has been used to do horrible things, but
here's the difference, and Reza is right. No, Reza's right, but the difference is that the power of others to make Jesus or to make Christ as they view him has never come close to the power of the European power to make Jesus white. In other words, black folks can think Jesus is black and view Christ as black, but at the end of the day, the image that has been used to dominate Christianity in this world and on this planet is the white image. So therefore, you can believe, you can think Jesus looks like whatever you want or that Christ looks like whatever you want. Ultimately, though, there is such a thing as power, and it's not equitable. And so if certain people have been able to impose their image of the Christ, of the Savior on others, or God, or Adam and Eve, the first human beings ostensibly as white people, to believe that that doesn't have an effect is to believe that advertising doesn't have an effect. It's to believe that companies that spend billions of dollars don't actually sell you stuff based on the images they use, which is nonsense.
And there it is.
Here's the reality. The image.
It is nonsense. There it is. Now, I noticed that I was gone for a while. All right. And these attacks on my live, I noticed that there is always a concerted attack on my live videos, no matter which platform I use. I want y'all to know that I have a direct connection So there's no reason why things should have went south the way it did. All right. But let me just say this real quick. People view us getting knowledge of self, knowledge of their lives, as a threat. And we need to start taking their power away from us. Seriously. We need to take that power away. We need to start teaching our children that there's no way in hell you can have a white Jesus in the Middle East. Oh, and when they see that picture of old Saint Nick, they will see a person that is of some color, right? We need to start teaching the truth. All right, we need to start teaching the truth. When I say we need to start teaching the truth, I mean simply that we as Afro men need to start dealing with the truth or teaching the truth. If we see anybody trying to lie, we don't let it fly. These females wonder on TikTok and stuff, they'll put something out publicly. And if you put something out publicly and it's a lie, expect it to be attacked. If I put something out publicly that I know is the truth, and you decide that you are going to discount the truth with confusion, I'm going to delete you. Period. There was a bunch of women in one of these posts on TikTok that you notice they talk about the mitochondrial DNA, the woman's DNA. They never tell you that you come from the seed. The man creates you in his loin. Why? Why is this? Why do they do this? They do this because they know that for history, throughout history, that we have been betrayed by the women in our community. Not all of them. But you don't need all of them. You just need a few that'll betray us, and then the rest of them, most of them, to go along with that betrayal. Why? Because it gives them power and stuff. Our moms, in order to be like the Joneses, our moms, the dads, and all the rest of that stuff, been lying to us for a while. It used to be back in the day when the dad said, I'm the Santa Claus in here. I'm the one bringing the stuff in. All right. We are being trained to lie to our children to make them feel good without understanding that you could give them stuff and not lie to them about where it came from. As a matter of fact, you build a stronger family if you give the child some stuff, and the child can go to school saying, well, some fictitious man didn't have to come and break into my house to give me something. My dad did it. And the reason why I say my dad did it, because they want that out of the house. They want us to not believe in us men. And the biggest perpetrators of the lie that there are no good Afro men are BWs. They lied to their daughters, so the daughters leave the house thinking that good men don't exist. They've lied to their sons so that the sons leave their homes and think, well, what's the purpose of being a good man? It's not going to be worth anything. And what's worse yet is they then think it is okay to have the children leave the homes as they grow older, thinking that there are some good lies and some bad lies, not realizing that all lies end up being bad. We have a problem with history today because this is what's leading the so-called black community, as these women chase the Caucasian image and the Caucasian way of life, a life which is destroying Caucasians as well as destroying Afro people. Now, I'm going to play this guy one more time so y'all can get the gravity of what he is saying. Pay attention to the true gravity of what this man is saying.
Here's the reality. The image of a white Jesus has been used to justify enslavement, conquest, colonialism, the genocide of indigenous peoples. There are literally millions of human beings whose lives have been snuffed out by people who conquered under the banner of a white God. That is a far more significant problem than whether a black writer in 2013 suggests somewhat humorously, but perhaps seriously, that we should change Santa to a penguin. No one's going to die because of that iconography. The white Jesus, white God imagery has literally resulted in death. That's something folks ought to deal with. What Megyn Kelly said was very simply, quote, Santa is white, end of quote, and so is Jesus. So I think the real issue is, if you want to make a joke about Santa's whiteness, here's a way to do it that would not presume white normalcy or that white is the norm. You could say, for instance, and I would, that if there was Santa, he'd have to be white because no black man could break into millions of homes even if he was bearing presents.
Right, because he would be shot by black and white people.
And not be shot by some neighborhood watch captain. That's a way to be funny, but Fox News would never do that because that would presume that they had to admit racial profiling and racism were real. So there's that. I think the real issue is that she made a statement of fact, not for her own opinion, but fact. There's a difference between believing in Santa and believing in Jesus or the Buddha. Buddha did not come from Kansas. Jesus was not born in a manger.
Now, I want y'all to pay attention to what he said. All of these people are making a statement of fact based on fictitious characters. I want y'all to understand that again. All of these people are making a statement of fact based on fictitious characters. Remember a long time ago when y'all first started watching me on my channel, I said that I do a lot of studying. And the purpose is for my studying is not to tell you what the absolute truth is, because that I don't know. But I damn sure as hell can tell you what the lie is. Okay? And I told you that Jesus is a lie. The narrative for Jesus is a lie. So I wanted to know, get closer to the truth. Come to find out, there were two messiahs that the Emperor Nero had a problem with. One in Jerusalem, one in Egypt. So these were messiahs that were warriors. Understand this. When the Romans put a siege on Jerusalem and scattered them and destroyed the temple and everything, all right, that took care of that Messiah. But they knew that just kicking somebody out of where they live is a temporary fix to an ongoing long-term problem that comes up again and again. Now, the Roman that they used to destroy this temple was Titus Flavian. Okay? Now I want you to understand something about Titus Flavian. This is him, Domitian and Vespasian. All right, these are the three that destroyed the Gauls so bad that they destroyed their history. So what was the Romans good for? Well, look at the library at Alexandria in Egypt. They destroy history. Caucasians go places, destroy the true history, and then rewrite the history in their image. That is the true history of the modern world. Now, even the late Caucasians are starting to realize this. This is why Afro people and Caucasian people are starting to get along now. Because we are both starting to see the pattern. And the lay people, the working class, are starting to see that they have been lying. Their Caucasians in the working class are starting to see that the government system or the elites have been lying to them on one end, and we as men, Afro men who study, who listen, all right, and so we listen to a lot of sources. I noticed this. I see you brothers in a lot of places listening to a lot of other sources. Right? Y'all ain't never seen me get mad because, oh man, he going and listening to somebody else. You ain't never heard me have a problem with that. Because then a lot of y'all got good at sharing pertinent information to me. A lot of it, so we, and I share a lot of other people's stuff that I run across. Right? And so we're passing information around. And so Caucasians and Afro people alike are starting to understand the mind jobs that are being done on all of us by the elite. But the worst job has been done against us as Afro people. Now, let him continue.
In central Pennsylvania, he was a man of color, and the fact that we have represented him for centuries, literally as a white man, speaks to the entire history of white supremacy. We can act like it didn't happen. We can make it the punchline of a joke, but the reality is this iconography, Jesus more so than Santa, I agree with Mel here, Jesus more so than Santa is a real problem. There's a reason we've represented these icons as white. It's not a coincidence that we've done that.
Okay, do you think there's something inherently wrong? I understand you saying that a white Jesus has been used to do horrible things, but
here's the difference, and Reza is right. No, Reza's right, but the difference is that the power of others to make Jesus or to make Christ as they view him has never come close to the power of the European power to make Jesus white. In other words, black folks can think Jesus is black and view Christ as black, but at the end of the day, the image that has been used to dominate Christianity in this world and on this planet is the white image. So therefore, you can believe, you can think Jesus looks like whatever you want or that Christ looks like whatever you want. Ultimately, though, there is such a thing as power, and it's not equitable. And so if certain people have been able to impose their image of the Christ, of the Savior on others, or God, or Adam and Eve, the first human beings ostensibly as white people, to believe that that doesn't have an effect is to believe that advertising doesn't have an effect. It's to believe that companies that spend billions of dollars don't actually sell you stuff based on the images they use, which is nonsense.
Now, let me bring up two things. This is why we really need to leave these alone and start finding wives amongst these. Belize, Colombia, anywhere where the females follow dominant, and when I say dominant, I mean dudes that know what they're talking about. Male leadership. All right, male leadership. This is why we need to leave this. Most of what has seeped into the minds of us as children came by way of our mothers who had the TV watch us. Most of our teachings that we got was by way of the TV. I want you to understand that. Understand that when we go places, right, the same BS that we are leaving in the U.S., we need not tolerate it there. When we go places, we need to look for women, not only that are going to follow our lead, but that are not going to betray our seed and betray us for who we are supposed to be. There is a blatant betrayal, and in order to get some, dudes will fall into it, not understanding the gravity of said betrayal. Everything we believe about the so-called Jesus, because that name, the name itself cannot exist. So that ought to start you to searching. If you find out there are no J's before 1640, then you have to start asking yourself, why are we calling somebody that is supposed to be born before 1640 a J word? What's up, Zimmerloo? What's up, Dwayne? Dwayne. Okay, think about that for a minute. If we understand this, brothers, that the J did not exist until 1640. If we understand that it's not even in the text that they say all this stuff comes from. If we understand that even the nature and the hue of the person don't match what would be running around in Jerusalem. All right? And even while I am here, I see a lot of beautiful women, but then I look at it and I'm kind of disgusted too, is because a lot of these women are taking on the feminist mentality where they're looking for money, 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 money. All right? And so you have to go to a place like Brazil is removed enough, and they are their own people enough that if we can keep simps from going down there and ruining things, that would be all right. We can go other places, like over in Africa. There's 54 countries over there. Colombia is a mixed bag. Colombia is a mixed bag. The women here. Now the brethren are cool. Brethren's cool. The brothers here are cool as a fan. All right. Here, this is my thing. This is my take on Colombia and Brazil. I like it here in Colombia as far as if I was to live. All right. I do know this, that if you get married to a woman that's Colombian, that you are really not likely to divorce. Divorcing is very difficult in Colombia. Period. Let me see that. They are. All right. Yeah, shiny stuff, right? And they got this way because of a lot of the dudes that went to these places and effed it up. You had a lot of simps that went down as groups, not the individual guys vacationing, right? You had a lot of dudes that went down as groups, and as a group, understand, and this is why groups are bad. As a group, they went down as a group of dudes, and they just overpriced everything, if you know what I mean, to the point where it harmed the locals. All right. And so you got to go where women are going to honor the man. All right. Filipino women, they're wonderful in the Philippines. Colombian women, like I said, they don't divorce, so you could bring them. The thing is, and here's the caveat. The thing is, we gotta look for somebody, because we're gonna want somebody that is going to be on one accord with us when we're saying we're not putting up with any more lies. We're going to teach the real history. All right. Now, when I say the real history, you're at an advantage with a Brazilian girl because they are more woke when they understand Afro history. When they do what they want to do, they do it because they want to do it. All right. So they are more woke when it comes to Afro history in Brazil. All right. Now, let's take a look at this also. That because we are looking more on a spiritual level, all right, the spiritual level is within us because we're the lead in that. And so we don't necessarily need to look for a woman that's trying to be on the same spiritual level that we are, like ones from these camps, because then they're going to fight with you. The best way I could put it is this. There's a woman that I like that was in Brazil, and they gave her the power to be a preacher, or whatever they would call it, like an evangelist, in a Pentecostal church, right? And it's the same problem as the Pentecostals in the United States. As you are learning the truth, she is going to be combative with you to maintain the lie in your home. You know why? Because the ones that taught her the lie also gave her power to tell the lie to others, and a position. Power and a position that a lot of these women feel trumps your position spiritually in the home. So their position that comes from a man in organization, like the women that always tout their degree. I got a degree. What she's telling you is that the Caucasian man gave me a piece of paper that says that I am more intelligent than you because look, here's this piece of paper. All right. And then they get angry and say, what can you do that's not on that piece of paper? Well, I'm a nurse. So do you know anything about micro? If I showed you bacteria with a spore in it, would you know? Do you know how to break down the wheel, get inside the spindle, get out the bearings? Do you know, in other words, when you look at what men know how to do, because we troubleshoot, all right, remember, we can't even trust doctors. Think about this mess that's going on now, and doctors are showing either how dumb they really are or how greedy they really are. But either way, it's bad. I want y'all to understand this. No matter how you look at it, it is bad. It is bad. These are women that will betray you at the drop of a hat. These are women that will betray you at the drop of a hat. So I want y'all to understand that. They will betray you at the drop of a hat. Why? Because it is just in their nature to do. When what they want to do has no bearing on being beneficial to you. All right, some women care about your seed. Other women care about the bag. You hear this all the time. The bag, the bag, the bag. So they're going to go to whomever can get them the bag. Never mind that they lied, destroyed, have rivers of blood based on their name, have the extinction of animals and a genocide of people. This don't matter to a lot of these females. They go and they get this power from religions. All right? They get this power from religions. Now, let me say this. Brothers, I want y'all to understand this. A lot of the rights that we were supposed to have, were taken away and given away and stolen away with the help of BAW, with the help of the BAW. One of the newest thing is this social justice something another, something another. The social justice, the group that went after Dave Chappelle. The group that went after Dave Chappelle. Hold on for a second.
I know I didn't realize there was such a difference in
the group that went after Dave Chappelle is run by a BAW. The group that went after Dave Chappelle is run by a BAW. Okay, so more on all right. Now, one of the things that I've been doing, right? One of the things that I've been doing is that a lot of these women that come and try to reply on my stuff, I just delete them. I don't talk to them, and that's what we need to do. All right. I go look and I see if they had their accounts are private or not, and I just delete them. Because what we have here is people that are, a lot of these females understand something to be a lie. And what they want to do is to promote the lie. If they can promote the lie, they're okay. See something here. 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3. Can y'all hear me good? Let me know if y'all can hear me well. All right. So basically, brothers, we got a lot of things that's going on. All right. We got a lot of things that's going on, and we are under some serious attacks. All right. It's about destroying us, period. There is such seething despise for the good Afro man. All right. There is such seething despise for us good Afro man that it is ridiculous. Take the time to remind y'all of this real quick again, too. All right. And so when we look at it, no matter whether you see them froed up or whatever, all right, we do not have allies. I want you to understand, we do not have allies. We have BAW still promoting this image to our children, which is patently fictitious. But they promote this to our children as something that is real. All right? Where we're not allowed to tell the truth about things. And then there is the blatant betrayal, all for money. And then there's the jealousy when you go and get somebody that really appreciates you. And they don't look the way the BWs think they should look. Because, you know, you were always supposed to think that you had no options. All right, and that's the problem, brothers. A lot of these females are like, you're not allowed to have any options. So we have options, but we got to be careful of the options that we have. All right. When we go and we choose, we got to choose somebody that we can teach our culture to, and we got to develop a culture to teach. So what is a culture? One, there is no such thing as black culture. We had a community. You cannot have a black culture when you don't have a community. Right? So we had a community that developed the culture of jazz, hip hop, the Chitlin Circus, soul. All right. So that was our culture, and then it was pimped away from us. And the stuff that you see that people are calling black culture is not black culture, because we're not the ones that's promoting it. We're not the ones that's creating the new culture that you see. The new culture that you see is being created by Caucasian dudes that own the hip hop companies. This is not our culture. It's not black culture. It's the black culture that white people want you to have. Remember, they got rid of EPMD. They got rid of the Public Enemy-esque type rappers, hip hop artists. All right, you got a bunch of rappers, but you do not have hip hop. And all the people saying that it's hip hop are people that are the front faces or the faces for the Caucasians who created this new culture dynamic. There are no leaders. We never needed leaders. We never needed leaders. We didn't need no Omars and stuff. Hip hop came on its own. And people became poets. Hey, what's up, Rashawn? All right. So we don't need this stuff right here. This stuff they call it hip hop? It's not. It's rap. And that's loosely categorized as rap, but it's not hip hop culture. It's not black culture. We have no culture. We stopped having culture the minute that BAWs decided to throw the man out of the house for food stamps and subpar housing. All right, we no longer have culture anymore because, and think about these degrees, y'all. The degrees that people are getting now are worthless, but they cost a lot of money. Remember the doctor, scientists make COVID testing devices. Remember the IQ test where she scored so low? She was dead last. She had the most degrees in STEM, and she was dead last on the IQ thing. Because they're not teaching these people how to think. They're indoctrinating them on how to do a task. Brother, biography of a people. Look, there it is. There it is in a nutshell. Hold on, let me make this bigger so that people can see. Biography of a people. Do you know who the author is? Hold on, let me see if I can figure it out. Book called Biography of a People. Okay. It's called The Afrikaner's Biography of a People. Now, let me point something out, too. It's by Herman Gillamy and Herman Berg Gillamy. And you can't find it on Amazon. Oh, never mind. All right. So you can find it on Amazon. All right. And it's the Afrikaner's Biography of the People. So you have to put in The Afrikaner's Biography of a People. Yes, I mean, and there's a lot to this. All right. All you need is a few of us, but here's the thing. The key to all of this is our ability to dismiss them. All right. So here's the thing. Let me see. What else? So I just bought it. So it's found on Amazon. So hold on for a second. I'm gonna give you what it looks like on Amazon real quick. And here you have it, The Afrikaner's Biography of a People. All right, so there you go. All right, so this is where we are, right? Now, we're in another place too. We need to start, hey, Rolanda D, I'm doing well. Okay. All right, so I found it on Amazon. All right. All right, and so book called Biography of a People. Oh, hold on. Wait. So hold up on that for a minute, y'all. I think he had it wrong. I think this is the book you're talking about. So, brethren, hold on for a second. Autobiography of a People. I think that might be the book you're talking about. Let me know, brother. Is that the book you're talking about? Autobiography of a People. Let me see something. Autobiography of a People. Okay. Let me know if that was it. Okay, so I think that was the second one was it, right? All right, so the second one that was it. All right. So those are two links. I think it's autobiography of a people, and then biography of a people is biography of a people is going to be hold on for a second. All right. So I think it's called autobiography of a people. All right. I'm trying to look in I'm trying to look and see who the authors of this are. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is a lot of authors. Autobiography of a People, 3 Centuries of African American History, told by those who lived it. And the other one is in reference, all right, the other one was South Africa because it's Afrikaans, and the auto. So that's the title. That's the real title. That fits what you were talking about. Okay, Rashawn Talley, that fits what you were talking about. The book is called Autobiography of a People. And is written by a selection of people. All right. Right, there it is. There it is. Okay. So I would recommend um the Afrikaners. I think that's going to be more so South Africa. Okay. So the Afrikaners one is the more. So brothers, understand this. I want y'all to understand this. We need to start. All right, I want you to understand this. We need to start teaching our own history. We need to start teaching our own history. We need to start teaching our own world history. All right. We have a significant problem in that we are very ignorant of stuff because we're not selective about who we learn said stuff from. All right. I want you to understand this. We are ignorant of a lot because we're not selective about who we learn stuff from. Hey, what's up, young boy 24? All right. And here's the thing. And thank you, Rashawn Talley. All right. Understand this. This is why I like these lives. Before the brother came up with this, All right, I just bought the book, so you know I didn't have it. But before this brother came up with this, on this live, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I like doing live streams. Instantly, we are able to share knowledge. Instantly. This is why it's good for brothers to meet one with another, so we could pass along this this knowledge. Okay? And oh snap! I talked about this book before, didn't realize I was talking about it. All right, so a while back, I talked about Dr. Joy DeGruy. I was one of the first people to feature her in a video. And she was talking on, she coined a term that everybody uses now, right? But as I was talking about her, she was reading from a book of slave stories. Brother Tally. She was reading from a book of slave stories, right? And remember I told you that the slaves, according to the slaves in the book said they seen more males R-word than the black women. I want y'all to let that sink in. I think this is the book she was reading from. I still have her whole video, original video. But I believe that's the book she was reading from. I mean, yeah, the book she was reading from. Where, again, the stuff that's happened to us as Afro men quickly gets overshadowed by the BW's feelings. Even when what happened during slavery did not impact them the way the things that happened during slavery impacted the Afro male. Remember when I said that most of the Afro slaves that were owned by black people, quote unquote, they were owned by the female, the black woman, through a process called manumission. In other words, she inherited, the BWs inherited slaves from the white masters. This is a historical fact. Well, let me put it to you this way. She came up with a wonderful definition of racism. And there was a white guy that came up with a good definition for it too. Right. So we need to learn our history, teach our history, and then we need to promote the images. We need to sit down and talk history. We need to get serious about our image everywhere. And the only image right now that many Afro males are concerned with is the jacked up image, contrived image of the female body that they want to run through. But then again, what can you expect when the majority of what you learn came from the BAW and you never had a real man to look up to in this new generation? Many of you here see my little degree that I got. I say little because it didn't matter. I got the degree in the job that I was working and retired from. And I got a couple more things that I forgot. Remember I talked to y'all about whether or not I should become Phi Theta Kappa? I looked into it because I was invited into it because of my grade. I thought it was a fraternity, and really it was an honor society. I didn't know the difference between the two because really I was the first one going through college like that. And my biggest argument about my intelligence on things is going to come from females. Right now, y'all know that I retired. I was a lab tech. Y'all know I understand DNA and stuff like that. And this is why we need to stop having these conversations with people that are trying to twist the truth about everything to give themselves godhood. Our society in the U.S. is really out of whack. This is why it was so easy for them to get people to throw away their freedom and take the freedom of others. So, Umdinga Mubutu, what would be your definition so I could put it up? So I could put it up here. Give us a good definition. All right, so I could put it up. I would like to put up a good definition. I thought mine was good. I had one for, so I said with racism. I said everybody is prejudiced, right? But not all prejudiced people are racist. But racist people are prejudiced and racist. And I put it like this: you can change the mind of someone's impression about a particular group with information if they're prejudiced. I think I have a new one. A racist person will believe only the negative things about other races and only the positive things about themselves. What about that? And she never said such a thing. And remember, Harriet Tubman didn't save a bunch of people. She only told her family and close friends how to get away. And she didn't create the Underground Railroad. She wasn't in charge of it. She didn't run it. She just knew how to use it to go back and get family members. So Mbenga, give me a. I think mine is a good definition. A racist But a racist has to have power to use the system against to oppress. Racists have the power to use a system they created to oppress another group. So let's see if we can put something, a whole thing together. Because I often said that a lot of BAWs are racist against Afro men, whereas they can't be racist against the Caucasian man. Why? Because the system that they use only oppresses Afro men. And the reason why they are oppressing Afro men is because of our race and gender. All right, so basically, so who has a better definition of that? Let's put some, what's the definition we can put together? I agree that you need a system in order to oppress. And the system has to work top to the bottom, top down. And, oh, hold on. And what racists believe, they believe unprovoked. Well, here's the thing. A prejudice is kind of based on information. All right. It's based on information you've gathered throughout history. You understand? And so let's say, the women that grasp their purse because of what they've seen on TV or what they heard about, right? I wouldn't call that racist. I would call that prejudice. And the reason I would call that prejudice over racist is that these women that grasp their purse and stuff like that have been traumatized either by what they've seen or whatever, whatnot. And so I can let that go. Right? Now, here's the other thing. You know, the women that call the police on somebody because they know they can, like all these women with these false allegations against Afro men, that do it, and in their minds they say it's an Afro man. Like with the one told Zeke Elliott, I just called the police on you because you're black. Okay, that was racist. Okay, why was it racist? Because she said, I am going to leverage the system against you, and I know that I can do it because the system is against your color. And this is the same thing. This is the same thing I said too. Um, and so basically, all right. So it's one of them things that we as Afro dudes know what it is when we see it and feel it, versus somebody that's just prejudiced. All right, because here's the thing: you got some dudes. I'll put it to you this way. Okay, I'll put it to you this way. I'm more uncomfortable with the Caucasian guys that ends up being in the business industry, the business and stuff like that. But they think they cool that they get a pass because they date the BWs. But they still, in their hearts, wouldn't want an Afro man dating their daughters, i.e., the racist versus the prejudice. All right, when you look at a lot of the racists, the people that they have the problem with is the Afro male. Oh, let's not get it twisted in any sense of the word of being twisted. The people that they have a problem with is the Afro male. All right. And so basically, when you looked at all the stuff that I showed you, all right, their problem with the Jesus need to be a white male because the people running around giving the Roman fits were Afro males. Remember, there was two of them that the Romans had to deal with. There was one Messiah in Egypt, and there was the Messiah in Jerusalem. Hey, send a link to that. Now, I got something called eSource that has something called the scriptures. And they kind of put stuff back, but they have a lot of stuff that's not historically correct. But it's like everything that's trying to do that, where everybody's trying to get back to something more original in English, there's always going to be kind of that problem. And I opened it up. Hold on. Let me do this real quick. There was a particular post somebody sent me, Leviticus 19 and 19. mingle seed. A brother sent me this. I'm glad I came up with this terminology for sperm. I'll show it to you like this. And then in the end he says, brother, do not mingle your seed. That adds a new meaning to mingle your seed. And who knows if this was a double entendre? Okay, who knows? All right, we know that something is wrong when we do this. This is why I say that even when we go other places. Now, here's the thing. We can go other places and we can find ourselves a woman, right? We go down there, they look good. We have to hold them to the same standards that unless their child is, and this is more likely in these cases. There are 3 types of children that we are allowed to take as wives. All right? That's the widower, women with children. The widower, the one where the child is a bastard, or divorced woman. And the divorced woman, because in a divorce, the child back then automatically went with the father. Oh, yes, they boycotted his movie. And they got a bunch of simps to go with it. Uh-huh. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, none of the protections, none of that stuff matters to the BW. And that's because they're seeking power. And they will destroy the entire community just to be exalted, right? But and maybe they do know, but what the Caucasian system don't know is that these women, once they get rid of us and destroy us, the Afro men, they will want to be exalted above them. Remember, look at who's running this current administration, because it isn't Biden. I showed you a picture. I showed you a picture. There's only 2 men in the cabinet. And they soft as hell. Right. But and they hate when I bring up Deuteronomy and Deuteronomy and Ezra and show them that, oh, no, all these people were Afros. All right, that we're not supposed to be with. And why? Because of witchcraft. No, they're trying now. They're just doing it on a slide. The reason why they usurp authority over the Afro men is because they're joining in cahoots with the Caucasian man. All right, and they get a head start with the Afro men in that they start brainwashing us while we're children in their homes. Remember, there was a reason they got rid of the man out of the home, so that we wouldn't have that male image to look up to. And by they, I don't just mean the Caucasian system, I mean the BAW. All right, there's a reason by that. All this stuff that we're talking about today, all these false teachings are able to happen because our homes is run by the very ones that's promoting the slave mind, actually teaching the slave mind. This is basically it. It's so much so that the dudes think they talking about something when they come on. Oh, I only talk to a BW. All right. Hey, Zilla, I think I got this. All right, and so yeah, I got that. I got that book. All right, and so this is basically it. So let me say this. So for right now, all right, I'm about to call it a night. I'm gonna call it a night tonight. And I'm gonna call it a night. I got this because it's in with my e-swords that I put out the link to that before. So this is how we fight this. One, on TikTok, on everything, we don't let them have breath in the comment section. They come with that snide stuff. If it's not a legit question, and you know how they're underhandedly trying to sow confusion, right? So you don't let these women come to your posts. A lot of these white Democrat women will come to my TikTok posts to confront things like basic DNA stuff. I don't even give them the time of day. I block them, and then I delete their posts. Period. I don't give them the breath. And that's what we need to start doing, because these are the same people taking that's stifling our voices. These are the same females that is deleting our channels. These are the same people that are these females, the BWs, along with their Caucasian counterparts in these alphabet groups. They are the same ones that are not only doing that, but they're trying to silence us on platforms so that we can't teach one another. So I want y'all to understand that. So we don't have to put up with the garbage. Understand? We can just stick a fork in them and say they're done. All right. So with that said, let me bust a move and be on out. Don't forget, donations would be appreciated if you can. My PayPal me and Cash App is in my description box, and the links for all the stuff that we talked about here will be in the description box also. All right. So with that said, peace, love, and soul. I'm out.